Everybody here this morning. You can see Craig's not with us here this morning. Craig's father sadly passed away last week, so he's up in the state of Maine with his family. His thoughts are certainly with Craig and his family. Hope he takes as much time as he needed. Concerned about the meeting here today. Asked if I would stand in for him. I told him that's the best I could do. I certainly don't bring his experience and expertise here. We have a lot of other experts here that can fill in for categories when needed, so I'll be relying on everybody here to help muddle our way through. But again, our thoughts with Craig. We'll be back here shortly. Continue leading our probation department. But why don't we get started then? We're going to have an attendance sheet being passed around. If everybody could please sign that. And I think we got the minutes from last year. Everybody should have been emailed those last week, but we also have copies of those. Send those around. And maybe some other paperwork that's going around as well. Let me call the meeting to order here. What I'd like to do, Craig always does this, and I think it's a good idea, especially this year we have a few new members of our board. So just go around the room real quick. Just state your name, who you are, why you're here, what your department is, and so everybody knows who everybody is here. So I'll start out with Scott, I'm judge here with the Lake County Common Police Court in our general division. We're going to my left here.
John Hammercheck, Lake County Commissioner.
Scott Simpson, I'm the captain in the jail. I run operations and staffing.
Good morning, I'm Marissa Cornacchio, Judge Willoughby Municipal Court.
I'm Mark Bartolotta, Judge Colby Court.
Mike DeLeon, Judge Juvenile Court.
Frazier from Lake County Ethics Court.
I'm Jennifer Malcolm, I'm the director for Neocox Female Facility.
Jeff Ruppel, coming with Common Police Court.
Pat Cannon, County Police Court.
Ken Gush, Matter Police Chief.
John Trevitz, Municipal Court.
John O'Donnell, County Police Court.
Frank Lambrero, Sheriff's Office.
Bob is Sheriff's Office.
Eric Banjo, Administrative Captain, Corrections Division.
Come on, Craig.
Administrator, Ridge County Commissioner.
Paul Rolchewski, Payne Municipal Court.
Vanessa Clappis, County Public Defender. Yvonne Michael, Probation Officer, Lansing Municipal Court.
Lauren Gazzo, Adult Probation.
Lauren McCarthy, Adult Probation.
Jason Boyd, County Administrator.
All right, well, I appreciate everybody doing that. Continue on here. The minutes should have been sent out to everybody last week through email from Lauren, but again, they're being circulated around here. If everybody had a chance to take a look at those, hopefully. Is there any discussion or changes, deletions, typos that we need to address? Any corrections or discussion on the minutes from last year? All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from last year's May 5th meeting.
So moved.
Judge Trevitz makes a motion. Who's second?
I second.
Judge Malcheski, second. All in favor of approving the minutes from last year, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Yeah. Expect nothing less. All right, the minutes are approved with one nay. All right, let's move on to item 3, the program update with the grants. Nicole's going to address these issues or these grants with you. Right now, we're in the middle. All the grants are in the 2-year grants, so nothing's being renewed this year. We don't need to vote on any renewals of the grants or accepting of any grants. We're in the middle of each one, but Nicole's going to give us a brief update on those. If you have any questions, then she can be able to address those. Nicole?
So as Judge Glenn said, there is no change right now in regards to that. Craig did want to update everybody in regards to the jail diversion grant. We're about halfway through, and we are on budget. Some years we are needing to spend an excessive amount because we're way under. We are slightly under, but looking good. So occasionally 1 or 2 extra we could handle, but we are on budget for where we should be with that. So we're doing a great job on that this year. He also wanted to let everybody know the Lake County Adult Probation Department was the highest scored department in regards to the audit last year for funding. So we did an excellent job on that, and he was very proud of our score. The audit is a very finicky thing to go through, and we scored the highest, so he was very proud of that. So he did want to announce that. So there are no other changes in regards to the funding at this point.
All right, thank you, Nicole. Do you have any questions for Nicole regarding any of the grants? Any questions for Nicole? Skated, Nicole.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the jail report with Captain Banjo and Captain Simpson.
Last year, we processed in about 4,100 inmates. 2023 was about 4,000 in 2022. The average for daily throughout the year fluctuates. Our highest was in May, around 319 inmates per day. We continue to house about 2/3 felons versus 1/3 misdemeanor inmates. We're working with the body scanner. It's very effective in controlling the contraband for the staff. Work release program, we had 55 inmates participated in. The program collected just over $33,000 for the year. For food service, we served over 350,000 inmates. In the dispensary, we had a little bit more than the 8,500 inmates seen by the medical staff throughout the year. The dentist is in every other week, about twice a month. Prescribers in twice a week, Crossroads. Dr. Spanner is now our new doctor. He came with us at the end of the summer last year. Did a phenomenal job for us. He comes in once a week. And P.A. Stutzman's in 3 times a week. We do a nurse sick call every day. We did get some money back for the psychotropic drug reimbursement last year. It was just shy of $100,000. It's like half for the year. Mental health, we had about 2,500 referrals in 2023. Jail care coordinators screened about 1,100 inmates who booked in for more than 3 days. And screening consisted of the mental health and substance abuse for the inmates. Medical coordinator Morris spearheaded our effort to obtain the proper licensure for us to have Suboxone on the premises so we can continue care for inmates that are addicted to opiates. So we're pretty proud of that. We're still one nurse short in the facilities. We are looking for a nurse. If anybody knows anybody looking to get into correctional nursing, please send them our way. We are now part of the Ryan White Part B Jail Assistance Project. We are getting funding, or some of our HIV meds are paid for through the state. We did join that cohort. That was also something that medical coordinator Morris was the lead on that project. Our JTP program, we had a total of 202 inmates completed the program. Last year, 255 participated in 2022.
Good. Just an update, so after the mess of COVID that we had, our programming that we have in the jail, we had 255 volunteers that came into the jail between church services and AANA meetings. We got this all back online now, so we're running our services, our Catholic church services, non-denominational services. We have Jehovah's Witness services that come in. We have the Bible study programs, and Gideon International comes in on Fridays. They go around and hand out Bibles and do one-on-one counseling with inmates. NA and AA are back on, so we have all of our volunteers there. JTP speakers are all set up, so if they're sentenced, they're going in and they're getting their 1 to 2 times a week. They get counseling inside the range with the groups. The WITS program, we got that going again with the females. We got our domestic violence, life recovery, parent cafe, Zumba, and what's the other one? Yoga. So our volunteers are all back in. A lot of people were hesitant about coming back into the jail afterwards, but they're much more comfortable now. And Captain Banjo and I met with a company called Passages. This was a mail program we met with, and we signed them up. They come in, we give them a list of people that are going to be getting out of jail. If they have children, they meet with them, and then when they get out of jail, they set up services, and this program is to help them be better parents, how to come back together with the family. So
It's more geared towards the fathers.
yeah, and it just started, so we haven't got a lot of feedback on it yet. It looks pretty good, and they run it out of Lakeland, right? So, and we also, for reentry, we have the job placement program, which is worked through Ken Hall. He comes in, and the same thing, they interview these inmates that are going to get out. They get out, and they're trying to set them up with some kind of employment. we have the veteran support program going, that's run by Sergeant Pate over in the jail. I believe there's about a half a dozen volunteers that come in. They do one-on-one counseling with them, and then they direct them once they get out of jail to hook up with county services. Major projects in the jail, I guess we're going to replace an elevator. So we're holding this place together the best we can. We're still leaking on the roof, but we're going forward. The jail's spotless. People come into our jail and they compliment us how clean we keep it, the condition it's in for what we're dealing with. So we're pretty proud of that. Lieutenant Eldridge heads that up, and he does a fantastic job for us, keeping that place in shape. We are switching our phone contract over to Smart Communications. We have tablets right now. This is going to up the technology we have, and it's going to help a bunch of the different divisions at the Sheriff's Office as far as being able to search phone calls, recording, stuff like that. And plus, it's going to make it easier for these inmates to use these services inside the jail. As far as our staffing goes, the other day we were fully staffed in the jail for the first time in years. We're really proud of this. It's been a difficult milestone to reach. We have a really positive young staff in there that we're working with and we're developing. So yeah, we're looking forward to hopefully getting this new jail and getting them in there working. And then the big one is going to be the new jail project that we've all been working on, that we put all these hours into. So we're really excited about possibly getting this new jail and moving into it. It's going to change the way we operate, and it's going to be much healthier for officers and the people we incarcerate in the county. So.
Can I ask, you mentioned, there's two programs you mentioned, the job reentry,
Yeah.
and what was the program that says primarily directed to
Passages?
fathers? Is that the one with the parents, fathers?
Yeah, that's for the fathers.
How do you get into those? Are you automatically,
So they come in once a week, we give them a release.
no, I meant how does an inmate get into that?
So we run the sheet for Ken Hall, I
Yeah.
believe. It goes to him, and then the passages will look, we have volunteers that come in, and they'll look at criteria, like through classification, if they have children and whatnot, and then they'll put a request out, do they want to meet with them before they get out? So they'll meet with them a week or two before they're released, and they have, they do their little whatever questionnaire stuff, and then try to set them up with these programs outside.
I guess my question is that something we could order as a condition of probation to make someone participate in that program, or does that get, would that be too overwhelming? Is it?
Well, you can reach out to the.
We could reach out to them
volunteers.
and ask them if they, like they talk about that. So it's a new one, we just
Yeah,
did
we
it,
just started it.
and we're thinking it's
Which
gonna be
one?
passages.
We just met with them a few months ago.
So the big push in Ohio right now, I was down at the jail administrator conference in the fall. The big push is this reentry stuff with the jails. It's really simple to do it in the prison system because they have them for a lengthy period of time. Inside the jails, you're only there, our average stays 21 days. For them to reach in 21 days is hard. So they're trying to push this program through the state about reentry. They think they're a few years out, but we've always been proactive in the jail trying to set up these services for reentry. I mean, we've always done it. When Captain Brooks was here, she was running these programs and doing it. So me and him are just trying to add on any positive ones that we can add on to. So that way, when this comes down from the state, we're going to be pretty much good to go because we'll have these services set up.
Trying to make them better citizens when they get released from incarceration. So.
That'd be good, and I think it'd be a good something for us to have, we want to make someone participate.
They're a real proactive group. I mean, they're pushing hard, and that passage is that they came knocking on our door, and we were able to set it up for them. So.
Sheriff, I know you're speaking next in the update, but anything you want to add on the jail here, or you're good? The current jail.
No, the changes in inmate phones and in the iPads is for specific reasons. We went to the iPads and the ranges because all mail, again, to remind, is shipped to Georgia, Florida. And where it's scanned into a system, then the mail is destroyed and the inmates can read their mail because too much was being brought in on drugs through the mail. With the iPads, we used to have to maintain a law library and get them in and out of the law library. Now that's all on the tablets. And now having the phone system through the same resources helps us do that more efficiently. Yeah.
Maintenance, what if they're trained?
We charge them inside the jail, we investigate that, so we catch a couple a week that do that. We had the one that was a 3-year court, the guy that was reaching out, and so they end up getting charged in-house for it. So they'll do time, discipline time in the jail when we catch it. But it is monitored every night. They go through and look to see if anybody's using anybody else's pins.
Anyone else have any questions for Banjo, Captain Simpson, the sheriff? Regarding jail programs? All right, thank you, gentlemen. We'll move on to the hopefully new jail coming up. Simpson Center update. There already Sheriff Jason. Who wants to? Where's Jason? Oh, there you go.
Good morning. I'll start, and then Sheriff and Chief, if I step outside of my guardrails, please bring me back in. I've got I don't know, 10 or 12 slide deck of kind of where we are in this process. Obviously, I've been briefing the commissioners, the sheriff, City of Painesville, and Judge De Leon last week, and felt this would be a good opportunity to bring all of you leaders up to date on where we are. Obviously, this is still a draft document. A more formal presentation will be given at a commissioners meeting probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Why 2 to 3 weeks? Because that's when we'll get our first 50% design estimate, which will obviously impact how we proceed and continue to work through our financing strategy, which at this point is a tiered strategy of cash, short-term notes, and long-term bonds. We've had a number of meetings late last year with the board, internally with staff, finance council, bond council, on what that might look like. We have a pretty good handle on what we think we can do. We also have, I just submitted, Chief Izzo and I, 2 or 3 weeks ago, an appropriations request to Senator Brown, appropriations request to Congressman Joyce, and have got callbacks on both of those. So I need a win, so I'm taking those as a win that we have a good shot of getting something from those other agencies. We're also working with our congressmen and representatives at the state level. There is a large county jail construction provision and a bill that's floating around. We have applied the past 2 budget cycles for funding, and I think as one of the captains said, we're a victim of our own successes. The jail, when folks go through there, is clean, well-maintained, scores high. The county is in a fiscally positive position. So when we look at our grant applications, they're like, you guys are fine. When really we have a $150 to $200 million capital expenditure in front of us. The good news is the state has broke out this large scale, I forget the correct title, large county jail funding. There's about 12 counties in this convoluted formula that would meet that test. We are one of those counties that meet the large county test. And of those 12, we are further down the road in design and potential construction. So a lot of calls with Columbus, a lot of calls with our lobbyists and sheriff's team. So I think we've positioned ourselves to the best of our ability to secure other financing sources as we move forward. Pretty simple guy. I would say we're in the 4th inning of this 9-inning ball game as far as design and planning is concerned. We are at the 50% design development stage. So we started in 2022 with the program where the sheriff's team, probably some of you folks were interviewed, what do we have, what do we want, and that resulted in just a bunch of bubbles that represented gross square footage and needs. After we completed that program, which is I don't know how many slides of Excel from janitor closets to cells to dental chairs, etc., we entered into a second contract with HOK and K2M, who are architects, our criteria architects, and started to take those bubbles and formulate floor plans. That was the schematic design that we spent last year on. That then merged into design development, as I said, the 4th or 5th inning of the game. We're at the 50% mark of design development, so we have another couple months of that. Then that will go to construction documents, CDs, which as you traditionally would know as blueprints. So we are doing this process in the bridging design build delivery method, as opposed to hire an architect, design a building, put it in an envelope, and have people bid it. This is a more fluid process, interactive process, where we have our architects on board, and we also have Gilbane Construction and Reconstruction contract already engaged. So as the guys and gals are drawing, the guys swinging the hammers and laying the brick and say, that's not going to work, very early in the game. So there's an upfront cost to that, but a long-run benefit is when it comes to change orders. So what I want to talk about today is, like I said, this is a draft, is we're starting to see the building come out of the ground on the site. I've got some elevations. These are subject to change. I just want to make that abundantly clear. I've got a site plan that shows the scope just from a top-down standpoint. We had a good meeting with the city a month ago, 3 weeks ago. City Manager Lewis and his team, I learned from this building that tones of brick color matter, so we wanted to be very cognizant of the city's desire. The building is in the downtown footprint still, so there's a historic review board. Obviously, you're planning and zoning ordinances, but I think we're in a really good place to meet those tests of the city. And you have to imagine from our perspective, this building, we tried to merge the materiality of the probate court, common pleas court, the church in this building with a new flare with the glass. Tried to pull in some variables from the Nolan building with the sandstone features, etc. We want to the best of our ability, tie that architecture and that design to the sheriff's office. And then also maybe try and tie it to Morley Library to have this civic presence. This is a civic building that we should be proud of. It should not be a 5-story brick square like the sheriff currently housed in. Saying that, we wanted to do it in a cost-effective manner. So without me continuing to pontificate here is a top-down site plan of what we're looking at. Juvenile court, right here. This is the crosswalk that we're probably all familiar with. Common Police rear parking lot is here. Burger King footprint. There's a Mark and Paul shop. 125 OSU extension, just from some geography. We're looking at about a 3-story building. I have some elevations. Over 200,000 square feet. So for reference, that's about a super Walmart. That's what a super Walmart size is. The building is pushed as close to Erie Street as we can, once again, to get that civic presence. And then honestly, to take advantage of the topography from from Erie Street to Jackson Street. There's about a 12% grade there, which provides us some flexibility in the basement, which will be, it's not the basement, what do they call it, level 0, where our Sally Port will be, our cup, our utility plant, etc. There will be, once again, this is subject to change. We've honed in on this pretty good. Our deliveries will be coming in predominantly off North St. Clair. Like I said, we have acquired the Burger King, and we have acquired these properties here that aren't shown. There was a barber shop. There was a brick. I think it was a 6-unit multi-family unit. We have since acquired these properties. So deliveries will come off St. Clair. Traffic circulation to a new loading dock, shipping and receiving, which we do not have. I guess I should back up. The fact that I can walk up right to the back door of the sheriff's office today boggles my mind. So this will all be secured parking with access control in the blue, as you can see, and then we'll have plenty of public parking here, and ultimately we also acquired what I call the Chicago Title Building late last year.
Is St. Clair going to remain street?
St. Clair for the time, yes, as it is represented now. Anybody from the city's here. From my planning perspective, it would make some sense, now that we own everything, to vacate that street.
Judge O'Donnell wants it to be renamed Place Needham.
We can do that. I've not broached that topic with the city. I've talked to the commissioners about that, about vacating this, absorbing that 60 feet of right-of-way, and having a contiguous piece all the way to the Chicago Title property. So deliveries into here. This is a proposed sheriff's garage, about a 3 to 4 bay garage where they can maintain vehicles, store evidence, store boats, etc. There will be where the drive essentially is today, will be a full-length cut-through. This is the Sally Port right in here. It'll be underground. We don't have the details of that yet ready, but that's kind of how everything's shaping up from just a site plan perspective. I did meet with Judge De Leon a week or two ago. It is a net +1 on the parking. There was some concern, obviously, about this parking. This will be adjusted a little bit to Plan East. We talked about some secure parking for the judge as well, mimicking the setup and access control methodology that the sheriff's team will have. Any questions on this? Perfect. Kind of the before and after. You can see the footprint in red, the red dotted line of what the county owns. Here is the crosswalk I was referencing. From a scale perspective, We could also say now that the county has purchased this over the past year. So I got to give the credit, a lot of credit to the commissioners on the ability to allow me to negotiate with the realtor and these landowners on a fee simple basis. Because that acquisition future-proofs, Commissioner Hammercheck word, which is a good one, what lies down the road 50, 60 years from now should we need an expansion of this current facility, proposed facility. The facility has right now 503 beds, Sheriff, is what it's designed for. Flexible design, we've heard it many times in my brief attendance in these meetings with substance abuse. Mental health will have the ability to treat those folks in a much more consistent and efficient manner in this proposed facility. From a scale perspective, here's what we're looking at. Once again, subject to change. I think right away you will notice the kind of civic presence, aesthetics of this building. After the building goes up, the plan is to raise the current facility. I've had a couple meetings with Lake Tran and the city of Paynesville on what does this look like. This is about 155 parking spots. And this is a good visual when I was talking about my points earlier about this aesthetic feel and the tying our campus together, because the admin building is right here. So that architecture is going to flow from here and then over to Morley Library. So that gives you a sense of scale here. Once again, this is a draft of the visioning, the comments from the sheriff's team, the designers, etc., on what this may look like. I've got a number of these. You can see we're incorporating the bricks, the brick feel of the courthouse, the county admin building, and trying to incorporate the sandstone of the Nolan building and the front main entry of the county campus. The building is elevated on a plinth to give it that presence along Erie Street. This is just another rendering along Erie. What does the sheriff want in his front as far as aesthetics? We talked about what's in front of the courthouse. I think we're going to go on a more planter style thing. Not that you guys know that detail yet, just to give you a feel of what we're thinking. This is a view from Jackson Street. So these are the houses along Jackson. There's a handful of old pine trees there now. That'll be completely screened with vegetation, as well as a landscape, probably brick combination wrought iron fence wall. And then this is the secure, an appearance or a visual of what some secure parking would look like. Once again, this is without the screening, that's with the screening. This is our central utility plant. Sheriff's team knows this better than anyone. Maintenance in that building, notably on our HVAC, all of our mechanicals is a pain in the tail, just the way the building designed. Everything will be baked in to this utility plant, including our 2 generators that will be housed inside. I was talking earlier about the delivery and receiving. We'll have that, which funnels, we don't have these yet. This funnels right into the storage area, right into the kitchen, right into the laundry room, everything, which is on level 0. This is just some cross sections of what these buffers will look like, etc. So here's looking straight on. This starts to incorporate some of the signage. Lake County Public Safety Center, some of the vegetation that's incorporated in. We've tried to incorporate the embossed lake logo that you'll see on the front facade of the admin center. We just got our signage plan last week, so the sheriff and I are currently going over that on what it looks like, wayfinding from throughout the entire campus. Are these the rec yards, Sheriff? Yeah. So these are rec yards. So in the current jail, and I'll defer to the captains, they have the recreation area, which requires the movement of inmates. That will not occur in this building, as there'll be internal rec yards within the pods or whatever the proper term is themselves. So that movement of inmates and the movement of corrections officer will be eliminated in this building. So they'll have internal rec yards with access to natural daylight, which is a DRC requirement. This is looking from Judge De Leon's shop. So this would be Plan West. You can see this change of grade here, our Sallyport, and our central utility plant to the left side of the plan. From a design perspective, we've tried to incorporate a different fenestration pattern with the brick and the masonry work, so we don't have one long blank wall. And this is a proper design standard, and also something the city really appreciates. We were initially, you see this peak here, we were initially looking at a gabled roof 6-8 months ago. When we started pricing it, it was very, very expensive, and with the technology of flat roofs provided by Gilbane, we were comfortable with going flat roof in at least a 30-year lifespan. But we did want to have some features looking from Erie Street that represent some elevation change, so that's why the peak on the front facade. Once again, this is looking, where are we at here? This is still a little bit the west, south Jackson Street side, Sallyport, shipping and receiving, and this is all the central utility plant. Once again, rec yards on the Jackson Street facing. You'll notice a change in materials here. We're not sure what this looks like. We're trying to break up the brick pattern. This could be a prefabricated metal panel like on the main entry to the admin center. That's still being studied by the design team. This is looking from Burger King, if you will. This will be, there's a SWAT garage here, some staff entrances that are incorporated into the secure parking area. This is where staff will enter and exit the facility. And I think it's important, I think this might be my last slide. In working with the city, we're trying to design it to the best of our ability without needing variances, going to BZA, and I think we're waiting to hear back, but I think we're in good shape. This red line obviously represents the height of the current jail from a cross-section perspective. So the ability to take advantage of this grade has helped us on our Florida, or grade to total height and elevation, and these are your setbacks off the property line. So you can see we're pretty close to Jackson Street, Erie Street. This also represents how we've raised the building so that you step up similar to a courthouse when you're going into a grand structure such as this. I think that's all I had. Sheriff, did I miss anything? So once again, this is a really good flavor of what we think this will look like. We're only in the fourth inning of where this may go. We anticipate a 50% design development estimate in about 2 weeks. And once I get that estimate, then I'll be able to make a more formal presentation to the general public at a pending commissioners meeting. But from a timeline perspective, we're hitting all our marks. I told the sheriff 2 years ago, I'm like, once we get going, strap on, because it is a ride. And I don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands of hours I have personally in this. Captain Banjo and Simpson, I mean, we talk about stuff that I have no idea, you know, where are the fried goods or the stored goods going or this, so it's impressive to watch the guys and gals who run the jail talk about the movement of goods and services in this building. I think we've done a really nice job. They've done an excellent job of making sure we touch everything. So, Sheriff, Chief.
No. Great explanation.
Anybody have any questions for Jason? Hey Jason, what about may not do the jail, what about the property to the west? I know we acquired some other can building there.
Yeah, so the property
What's going on with the property to the west?
So the property to the west, the Cannon Stern, I don't know what it used to be called, I always called it the Cannon Stern. Chesky building, yeah. Sorry. We acquired that a couple years ago. We are currently renovating the upper floor of that in-house. That will be the juvenile, Mr. Colson's juvenile judges that are juvenile court attorneys who are currently kind of haphazardly spread throughout the 125 building below the public defender. So we renovated the upper level, the law suites of that facility. That is almost done. The lower level, the plan is, I think I talked to Judge Bartolotta a couple weeks ago, that was a daycare, 1-star daycare. That's going to be storage. So our goal is there's individual rooms down there. We're going to clean that up, paint it, and then we're going to access control that so that we continue to hear about county office storage needs. So you'll have a fob. You'll be able to fob in the rear door, the lower elevation, to go and then fob into your storage suite. So that's the goal. We're still some time away because we've been concentrating on the upper floor, but that's what the lower level of that. We also acquired the old Burgess and Nyepel building a block down, 100 West Erie Street. We're looking at it, different ideas. We're talking in depth with Ms. Clapp on where does the public defender go. At full load, there's the opportunity to have well over 20 employees when fully staffed. I think the number was 22, 23, 24. The Cannon Stern Evenian building just didn't work. So we looked at future down the road. I learned with, when we started this building, when I started this job, there was no such thing as a stormwater department. There was no such thing as a GIS department. Not that we're here to grow government, but you never know what the next thing is. So we walked Burgess and Nyepel with Vanessa and her team, Commissioner Hammercheck in December. and it was a great fit. So we acquired that building, so that will ultimately be the future home of the Lake County Public Defender's Office. I just have a design, we have to add some walls on the second floor of that building. We had a great call with the State Public Defenders Commission 2 weeks ago. The beautiful arrangement with that is whatever the going reimbursement rate is will offset our remodeling costs. So that was confirmed last week, was great. They will also assist on the reimbursement rate with the planning, designing, and engineering, which I have a contract from Burgess and Knight will start that. So there are a lot of moving parts. Thanks for that question. We talked about parking for Vanessa's shop. We're going to sign a handful of stops in the Malcheski building for public defenders in the event they have to get to court in due speed, so they'll have parking right in that front lot. I think it's not even a mile down the road. I marked it off. So yeah, so that's where we're at on the other facilities that we've acquired. These 3 buildings, Burger King, 125, and OSU Extension, are slated to be raised this summer.
It's all gonna be parking there? What that is?
It won't be parking per se. It'll just be gravel for the time being, assuming everything continues to move forward on the jail. I don't want to spend the money to pave it if we know we're going to be ripping it right out, as early as late this year, early next year.
Okay, I know we brought it up, I didn't know if you had a chance to look at it. Is there a way to pop through from the Malcheski building to the rear hallway of the juvenile court so that the prosecutors and public defenders that park there don't have to go around like in blizzards and stores?
Yeah, we talked about it a couple weeks, so I have to talk to Mark and Paul about that.
Okay.
There's a window right there in Warren's.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking, that should be our wall to that hallway, but if it works, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
He's like, no.
Give you a sign, 52 seconds.
Commissioner Hammercheck, Commissioner Ragovich, any thoughts?
No, I'd just like to say that, again, the renderings you saw today are far different than they were 6-8 months ago, and made a change because of the value engineering that they're doing now. So when they start looking at the price, that's the benefit of doing the design build, is they can sit down together as a builder and an architect and say, okay, where can we save money? And we were pretty big on having a roof that slopes so it lasts longer, and they sit us down and say, well, the technology of flat roof is way different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. So we've got a lot of money savings and things like that. So I'm always surprised every time I see a new slide, because there is some changes to it every time. But the city is happy with the design to fit into the downtown area. I think I'm pretty excited. I love the renderings. What you see there is not, it may look like a window, it's not necessarily a window. But it was a big eye-opener for me to tour the one in Michigan and the sheriff's team, and they went to the one in Tennessee? Nashville. And that was a 1 million square foot building. But to how movement of prisoners and things went, the safety factor is much better. It's going to make for a much more pleasant working environment, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, we've reduced this, I think the first value engineering exercise, which is a fancy way of reducing cost. We reduced square footage by 35,000 square feet, that's not about right, 40,000? 40,000 square feet. Another item that the team looked at was some floor to ceiling heights. ODRC has some height standards in certain areas the sheriff didn't feel we needed. We wrote, I'll call it a variance request, would have saved us $3 or $4 million. We were turned down on that, so we're looking at everything we can without compromising the operation integrity of the facility. So we'll know how much more value engineering we need to do in a couple weeks when we get this 50% design estimate. The design estimate is looked at from 2 perspectives. HOK has a construction estimator, and then Gilbane has a construction estimator. And then those 2 will get in a room, and then they'll reconcile those and present us with what that number is.
Is Gilbane also working with Cuyahoga now?
Gilbane is also, they're working with Cuyahoga. They were working with Cuyahoga 2 or 4 years ago, but they kind of hit that pause on the downtown location and ultimately ended up out.
So I assume they satisfy you, there will be no delay.
Correct. We had a contract call yesterday with Jeff Applebaum from PMC Consultants, who's been guiding us, Dave Hackman, through the legal side of this. And I asked that question. When we had our interviews, I think the commissioners will remember, I was impressed particularly with the project superintendent, the guy that's going to be in the trailer. And I said, we need to make sure, I can't remember his name, but that guy, so in the contract, it personally lists those employees who will be on our team, and they're the same. And there's a contract provision in there that they cannot be taken, now, they leave employment there, there's a medical issue, that's different, but yeah, the team that we were presented a year ago is a team that will have.
I think it would bring up a little bit of history. You might recall at a previous meeting, there was discussion about, we were actually looking at the engineer's office as a clear palette. And the lessons learned, we were trying to compare land that we already owned, land that we already owned. And had we stayed with the footprint that previously existed, this would be a very different building, extremely more costly. We learned lessons by looking at a clear palette. We were able to acquire additional land. People are asking, why are you buying up so much land? Because it's cheaper to buy the land and build this than it would be to try to go taller and make what we have work. So the proof is in the pudding. We asked you to trust us. You did. Thank you for that.
And I'll add, there's a, I think it was Judge Lucci brought this up a couple years ago. There's a section in the revised code 15336 that was, it's been on the books for a long time, but it's a 7-person committee that approves estimates, which was easy to do when you put it in an envelope and you bid it out. We're doing this design build process where there'll be what's called a guaranteed maximum price. So we weren't sure if this committee's applicable, but we think it's wise to do it. Probably be later this summer when we have our cost and we're closer to the construction document phase. So it's the Board of Commissioners, the Clerk of Common Pleas Court, the Sheriff, Probate Judge, and one person appointed by the Judge of the Court of Common Pleas. So it's 153.36. So at the appropriate time, we'll convene that, and I'll more than likely with the Sheriff disclose this presentation in more detail and ask for approval. We're not sure if this applies to this particular delivery method because of construction reform law a number of years ago, but I just wanted to point that out, that there will be another step that I will bring this 7-person committee probably later this summer. That's all I have.
Anyone else have any other questions?
Frank probably already planned for this, but with all the secured parking around the building, I'm wondering where you're going to have the family and friends and associates of the inmates go and scrawl their messages on the paper.
There'll be a big chalkboard out
Set
there.
that aside somewhere for that.
There'll be a sign, there'll be a graphics board like the classic stadium.
Whiteboard, you're right.
We get 5 minutes on the board.
Make sure they're warned that anything they say can be presented.
Great job.
Thank you. Any other questions for Jason, the Sheriff?
We save money.
Commissioner, I think? Oh.
We save money.
They adjourned during trial.
Eliminate this now.
All right, well, thank you, Jason, very much appreciated. All right, let's continue on. For specialized dockets, so Judge Trevitz, want to give us an update on your mental health report over there?
We have mental health and drug court. We have 2 specialty dockets. We're very proud of that. We were certified by both. We have to get certified by the Supreme Court now. It's a very tedious process, but we do have mental health and drug court. I want to thank everybody here at the table. We've been very fortunate in Lake County. We are blessed because we all work together and use common sense. And we really appreciate that. The prosecutor's office, the Colson, and the police department, the police department. Thank you, Chief. What you guys do. And the rest, we have jurisdiction for the whole county. And so we utilize other police departments too, and the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff, thank you. We couldn't do this without you guys because you provided transportation. As nice as this guy is, if we have somebody from Madison that has to go to jail in mental health court or drug court, the Sheriff gives the service, so we appreciate that. Also, you guys do a great job with mental health and drug. We are so blessed to have you. It is so important for us because a lot of times you stabilize them so that we can work with them. So we thank you for that. Also the Adams Board. We didn't have the Adams Board, but there's a lot of things that come up on our staff and teams, and we didn't have your cooperation and help, we couldn't do it. And we thank you. Every time I make a request, it happens, and so we appreciate that. And Vanessa Clapp and your group, God bless Jamie Eck, our staff and team, and thank you for all that you guys do. We're changing a little bit with our drug court philosophy. I think that you have to change. I think it's important because society changes. One glove doesn't fit all. And we're going to change up a little bit in our drug court. At one time, I had it that it was volunteer. And after watching things, our court's very difficult to get through. It's an 18 to 24-month program. Mental health court is 24 months. And a lot of people are afraid of that kind of hard work. So with the drug court, our attendance is down, our participation is down, and I believe I'm going to try to help those that don't want to get help. And we've done some research on this with Dr. Michelson, and we found out that many people are reluctant to get in, but once they get in and once they see the support and the caring and the help that they can get, they're into it. So at least with the Mentor docket, I'm going to order people to the drug court. And there's criteria we have, and we're going to make sure that they're compliant. And so I just think that's the way to go. With the mental health court, just give you a little history. We're the 3rd in the state of Ohio. We're the 35th in the country. So we started this, in 2002 we started thinking about it. In 2004 we finally did it. And I'm very, very proud of that. There's been changes, but the one fact I want you to know, over 80% now, I used to say 75, so over 80% now that have graduated from that program have never been rearrested. I mean, that is just outstanding. You people have a lot to do with that, but I wanted to share that with you. It's very important. The one thing I do have a sad thing to say, but I'm glad for the person, sad for our court, the county. Julie Hammond is going to leave. She has been my right-hand person, and I think all of you, judges, the police department, sheriff's department, she is just extraordinary. She is just wonderful, and truly going to miss her. But in the thing that I just wanted to, if people don't know, I always talk about hard work and caring the most, work the hardest, care the most. And just an example of Julie Hammond, she's with her husband, they live in Painesville. It's a Sunday, they're driving along and she sees a person that she knows mental health, and it seems that we're having some difficulty. And he goes, Jules, it's a Sunday. She goes, stop the car. That's Julie Hammond. I mean, how do you replace that? So our job is going to be a little bit tougher now because I know that they're interviewing people, and I know I'm going to be involved a little bit in talking to that person because, as I always say, we're not here to be good, we're here to be the best. Lake County's been blessed for so long. We're, again, 3 to 5 years ahead of everyone else when it comes to mental health drug situations. A lot of it has to do with the people here, so I thank you for that. Any questions?
Actually, I just want to do a shout out and a thank you. One of the things judges have been working with the county on, as well as Region 13, Judy Moran, real servant's heart, and been working on utilizing settlement dollars wisely. One of the things I'm sure you all remember, but like my name is Verdict of partners with Trumbull County, $650 million. Very key in making that be a reality. That's powerful, and wisely working with one of our courts, Vision, again, being a true servant, but also one of the little known did you know facts. The Adams Board is at risk of actually having to send money back. So by working with the courts and just a simple phone call saying, hey, I know this doesn't fit the 4 corners of, but a simple phone call, getting a waiver, that being open-minded is so powerful. I believe Adams board dollars are like last dollars in. So one of the things, and by the way, this will be a little bit of a surprise, my suggestion is let's just expand the program. If we can't make it work within these four corners, let's blow the wall out and make it bigger. So that's the only surprise I wanted to throw at the judge today.
More work.
It's okay, because there's so many unmet needs. And again, I just want to say thank you. It is such a pleasure, again, working overwhelmingly through Judy Moran, but just your open-mindedness, you're willing to be flexible is such a powerful tool. And obviously, Kim Frazier, thank you for making those phone calls and saying, hey, here are dollars that we actually have to send back because we didn't make that phone call, or we weren't given the opportunity to make that phone call. So I don't know if you want to add to that, but thank you. I just can't overemphasize that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions for the judge? All right, Judge Bernaccio, you want to give us an update on Veterans Court?
Thank you. So we received our recertification for Veterans Treatment Court. That was last year, the same process that Judge Trebitz went through with the mental health docket and the drug docket. The best way to really describe the Veterans Treatment docket, I believe it's really a hybrid of mental health and drug court that is designed to help people with military service. So you have to have a diagnosed mental health issue and or a substance use disorder to be admitted onto the docket. And we have a really great team that helps us with that process of who is eligible to be placed on the docket. It is very rigorous. It's a 24-month commitment. So we have the same challenges with getting individuals to agree to want to participate because it is hard. It's more difficult than traditional probation, but I think the people who commit themselves to the participation on the docket really do believe that there is a significant benefit. We have a wonderful team of veteran mentors, they're volunteers, and they are assigned to the individuals that participate on the docket. And they're really a sounding board, somebody that the veteran on the docket can relate to and maybe have discussions about issues outside, that the treatment provider maybe isn't one that they would reach out to. This is someone with a shared experience. So we are, I don't think that we're necessarily county-wide. We have expanded. We did have someone from Painesville Municipal Court get transferred onto our docket. We're certainly open to doing that. I think if we can reach as many people as possible, that's really important. And I guess a reminder to jail staff, law enforcement, anyone can refer someone to the docket. So a police officer on the arrest, if they identify the person with military service, if somebody in the jail and the corrections staff realizes this person has service and might be an appropriate fit, and I know that some of your volunteers have also helped refer people to the docket, so thank you for that.
Just to detail that, we added that to our classification process, so when we classify the new inmates, that's where we get the recognition, and it goes into an alert on the computer that shows that you're a veteran, so that's how we're hooking up those services in the jail for you.
Okay, thank you very much for doing that. I know that's been in progress for a while, so I'm glad that is actually happening. And so we are recertified for 3 years, and we're always exploring other ways to help our veterans that are on the docket, and right now we're exploring a music therapy program. So they have one in Michigan, and we were approached about bringing this here to Lake County, so we're in the early stages of that. So that's really the update.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Judge Bernaccio? All right, thanks, Judge. Judge Malki-Cheska, anything you want to leave you out here?
No, I really appreciate everybody. I find that everybody sitting around this table is partners, and Painesville Municipal Court certainly benefits from all the partners. And so I really appreciate all the work. The only new thing, I'm able to benefit from the specialized dockets because I can send people there. Painesville Municipal Court is going to take down its siding in about 20 days. replace it with hardy board. So you see some construction, so I'm just reminding everybody that it'll be a little bit treacherous around the courthouse, but it should take about 2 weeks. So we're going to replace with hardy board. So it'll look the same, just nicer. Thanks.
All right, we'll move on. NeoCap update, Jake's not here, but Jennifer, you want to give us an update?
Yeah, so with regards to our mail numbers, we can house up to 125 mails at our mail facility, which is located in Warren. We're staying pretty consistently full with our mail numbers. The waiting list is fairly low time with that. Females, we are low on female beds. With regards, we can house up to 60 women at our Blaisdell's location for the women, and right now my count today is at 35. So it seems like when we took our numbers down for COVID, we've just been playing catch up since then. So really with the women, with regards to placement, if somebody gets sentenced, we're getting them in fairly quickly. For example, we had a Trimble County female who got sentenced to us last Thursday. We're actually bringing her in today. So the women were able to get them in very quickly.
So the other county is utilizing a program here in Lake County, women's facility?
Yeah, so we have females there, even though our numbers are only at 35, we still have females there from all 5 counties. Most of our placements seem to come from Portage County. There's a lot of Portage County women in there, but yeah, we are still seeing some placements from all 5 counties.
Any questions regarding NeoCap? All right, thank you. All right, Tim, you want to give us an update on?
Sure, just a couple of things. We've opened a 16-bed mental health residential treatment facility in Mentor with Signature Health, men and women. It's up to 90 days. It's called Everett Center. We are working on putting together a crosswalk, particularly for the courts, of what services are available. I know right now we fund 90 different programs, so it's overwhelming to think of, where could you possibly refer stuff. So we're going to try and dumb it down a little bit and make a pamphlet that's easy for you all to use to know what services and what levels of care are available. Yes, and we also would like to, we're going to pull together a meeting with all of the judges. We will feed you to kind of walk through some of this. I've learned something. So we're going to do that in the next couple of months. We're looking at the jail treatment program, and right now it's a really fixed length of stay that an individual needs to be incarcerated in order to be eligible. We're kind of looking at the parameters of that and whether or not we might be able to be more flexible through Crossroads Health. So if somebody has a shorter length of stay, they might still benefit from the program. We have embedded a behavioral health professional in the juvenile court. So very excited and very glad that you're welcome that for us. So that's some good work that we're doing, and just that's about it.
When do you anticipate wanting to have that meeting?
I'm thinking like in the next 2 months. So we'll throw out some dates.
Just reach out to Pat, he's representing Judge Lee.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, I appreciate that, that'd be nice. Thank you, very nice. All right, any questions for Tim? All right, coming up on the final lap here, let's see, any new business anyone would like to discuss? Bring up questions? So every year the commissioners pass a resolution with the new members. That was just done just last week. So I think our new members, we have Captain Banjo and Captain Simpson, who replaced Captain Brooks, who's a longtime member. Who else is new here this year? Let me see. Lauren, you kind of have it down here somewhere.
Jason, but we...
Oh yeah, Jason,
Yeah.
now officially a member.
Now officially.
Oh,
Here's your resolution.
congratulations.
Jason.
Thank you. I think that's it actually. And we're very, I guess Chief Izzo is technically a member now as well. Yeah, officially. The only other thing I guess I want to check out is that technically we are supposed to have 2 meetings a year. We always do one at this time. But we should be having another one. So we're looking to find if there's a preferred time sometime this fall. October, is that what we're talking about, Lauren?
Yeah.
Anyone, third times, or I think we'll just reach out to everybody that we have in terms of, setting this one up and do that. Well, any other questions or discussion or matters anyone wants to bring to the table here? All right, well, I'll take a motion to adjourn our meeting. That'll move. Judge De Leon, second? Second, Chief Izzo. All right, we're adjourned.